How I made 100 grand a month literally taking naps. And I'm going to show you exactly how. Now, before you click on that video, it sounds absolutely crazy. And guys, trust me, it is. Wait till you hear this story. Whether you're hearing it for the first time or rehearing it, it changed my life. The way this worked was I had a coaching business with the famous Bob Proctor. You might know him from the movie The Secret. And he had this seminar that I went to when I was dead broke. I want you to imagine this. I'm 24 years old. I'm dead broke. I'm driving for Uber, making $1,200 a month. The most I've ever had in my bank account up to this point, this is 2020 now. The most I ever had in my bank account was $1,800. I never earned more than $4,000 a month in my entire life. And then I went to this Bob Proctor seminar, and this guy's talking about mindset and visualization and law of attraction and meditation. And I'm like, dude, I don't know what you're talking about, but I like what you're talking. I like the words that you're saying, and it sounds nice, but you better teach me how to do this thing, right? So here's long story short was I paid him $30,000. And you might be thinking, well, how do you have the money for that? Well, there's this thing called credit cards, right? So I was like, what's the minimum I could put down to pay you $30,000, Bob Proctor, so you could teach me how to visualize and make a lot of money, right? He's like, well, you could put down 5 grand. So I got my grandpa's credit card, literally, not even mine. My credit was crap. I put $5,000 on my grandpa's credit card. And then they're like, okay, you got to pay us 3 grand a month for the rest of the year in order to pay off this 30 grand. I'm like, bet. So I got 30 days to not only try to get a client, right? And so what I ended up paying him for was a certification to become a consultant. So what I would do is I would teach and sell his mindset coaching program. So he had this big program. Obviously, Bob Proctor was a massive guy before he passed away. And so he had this program that was 6 months long that he wanted me to charge $7,000 for. And I would teach people how to reprogram their mind to get a specific result, right? And so as I'm joining this, I'm like dead broke and I have no money. And I'm like, I have to figure out not only how to like pay off this 5 grand, but to pay these guys 3 grand. And so I have no choice but to actually use the program. If this issue is real, then I better like something better happen. I can hopefully feeling the energy I was having at this point, right? This is 2020. Lockdowns are starting to happen and pandemics happening. And so I can't leave the house. I'm in Medellin, Colombia. I got this 5 grand credit card limit sitting and weighing over me. I got a 3 grand payment coming that's weighing over me. Lockdowns are happening. And I have no idea what the hell I'm doing with this mindset program. And I start to panic. And so I said, you know what? I gather my thoughts together, and I gather my emotions, and I put all of my energy into this Bob Proctor program that I just spent $30,000 for. And I start studying it. And I get to lesson 4 of the program. And I'm not selling, don't worry, I'm not selling you anything in this video. So don't worry about it. This is my first 7-figure business, right? So we got to lesson 4 of the program. And I'm learning about the subconscious mind. Bob talks about the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and that the subconscious mind controls 95% of your results. And if you can begin to reprogram the subconscious mind, you'll actually start to behave in different ways and start to attract the people, situations, and circumstances that will change your life. And so I'm like, dude, sounds good, but shit. All right, I'll attempt it. So I'm in Medellin, Colombia, and and what I do is there's this couch that I would lay on, just like a normal couch like this. I would sit on the couch, and 3 times a day, I would visualize myself having a booked out calendar. Because in lesson 4 of that Bob Proctor program, he would say you need to visualize with your mind what you want, but then you also have to feel as if it's done and feel the excitement as if you achieved that goal. So what I would do is 3 times a day, because it was pandemic, I couldn't leave the house. I was stuck in this house in Medellin, Colombia. I had no choice but to meditate and just sit there because I had no clients. I had no money. Shit, got to do something. So 3 times a day, I would sit for 15, 20 minutes a day, put on a little meditation music, and I would visualize what it would look like, but most importantly, what it would feel like to have a fully booked out calendar. So if you're familiar with Google Calendar, you know how you have like on the phone, you know how you can have like slide up and you see like the little blue or whatever color, calendar things. I kid you not, I would visualize this. I would see myself scrolling on a phone. Sometimes I would even grab my physical phone while my eyes were closed and imagine myself scrolling down the calendar. And I would start to feel so excitement, but the excitement that I put was overwhelmed. I start to think to myself, oh my gosh, I have so many appointments from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. When am I going to go to the bathroom? Like I have no time to eat. And I would do that every day, 3 times a day for 7 days. I kid you not. It was between the 7th and 10th day. I don't know exactly, but it was between 7 and 10 days. After starting that, my life changed. Something happened. Out of nowhere, this guy messages me. Watch my last video where I talked about how I recruited an army of affiliates and they sold $500,000, right? This guy messages me randomly, says, "Hey DeAndre, would you like to come on my podcast?" I go on this guy's podcast it was like a Zoom call, and I had over 1,200 people on that call. And I did my training and I did the work that I was already doing. And at the end of that Zoom call, I had a fully booked out calendar for 4 months straight. If you were to look, I'm actually going to show you right here. If you were to look and see what I saw, everything that I had visualized let me pull this up for you. Everything that I had visualized in my meditations actually came to fruition. So I want you guys to see this here. This is my actual calendar. Look at this. It came true. Look at that. That's the date. That's 1 day. 1 day, fully booked out. That's why I had visualized 7 to 10 days prior, and it came true. It came true. So I have to ask myself, and you have to ask, when I did 100 grand, when I collected 100 grand for that coaching business, working with Bob Proctor, did I make 100 grand in 14 days when I collected it? Or did I make 100 grand because I was visualizing that same exact thing that I showed you on my phone 3 times a day for 7 days straight? It was me taking those naps every day, seeing it, that actually manifested it. Now, what I'm going to do is going to give you action plan on how you can do the same for yourself, your business, and whatever it is that you want to manifest. So what I actually did was something called the Silva method. Okay. I kind of stumbled across it because Bob Proctor doesn't really teach like visualization and meditation. He just teaches you got to get emotionally involved with it, but he doesn't teach how to actually do the meditation. But what I did, I later just found out, this was 3 years ago that this happened to me. But I just found out in the last 6 months what I actually did. And it is called the Silva method, which was created by this man named Jose Silva. I found it through the Mind Valley, if you're familiar with this. But I'm going to give you the exact thing that I did, like scientific, not just saying it, but like a real science behind it. Here's what he calls a mental video. So here's what you do. When you close your eyes, and what you see is you're going to see a screen in front of you, about 6 feet in front of you, about 20 degrees above your line of horizon above your eyes. So if I'm sitting here, I see a mental screen about right here. And what you got to do is you got to put yourself and play a screen of what it's like to live that life that you want. Is it having more clients? Is it running live events, having more money, driving that dream car, growing your business, whatever it is that you want? You're going to start to see yourself having that, but living it in the first person. Here's a really important thing. Don't say that you want. Don't live as if you want. Don't live as if you're trying or desire. You have to live as if you have it now, because the subconscious mind can only believe what you impress upon it. And I'm doing this now to this day. You have to, it believes what you impress upon it. So by you playing that movie as if you have it now, the subconscious mind, like repetition over and over and over, begins to think that you have it. And then the universe uses the law of least resistance to actually manifest the people, situations, and circumstances for that vision to come true. Hopefully you guys are following me here. So what you're going to do, close your eyes, see the vision. And what you're going to do is play the emotion of what it looks like. But you're going to do this a couple times. I want you to do at least twice per day. Sit down, put on some meditation music. It's up to you. My clients used to ask me all the time. I put on meditation music and I sit, and I do some breathing, and I start to play the movie of what I want. And I do that for 15 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day. And you could take naps with it. Preferably you want to be in a sleep-like state. So that's why I said I would take naps to manifest that money. You can take those naps. Go lay down, relax, and 20 minutes is all you need. Do that twice, 2, 3 times a day. But most importantly, if you can do it before going to sleep, even better. Because when you're sleeping, your subconscious mind is actually still working. So if you can do it even before sleeping, that's another method in the Silva method. You'll have even more powerful results. So guys, hopefully that makes sense for you. That I really did make 100 grand a month because of taking naps, but not because what you think, because I was being lazy, but because I was actually doing visualizations and seeing myself that I had a fully booked out calendar. And 7 to 10 days later, I had a fully booked out calendar. I did the work. I busted my butt 10 hours a day doing Zoom calls and enrolling people into the Bob Proctor coaching program. And I made 100 grand in 14 days and scaled on to 7 figures. So guys, hopefully you got a lot of value from that. Keep visualizing, subscribe below, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.